You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, KLRN Radio listeners, Jason Marshall here. If you're a regular listener, then today's episode is the conclusion of yesterday's episode. The episode ended while Kenny was telling the Colonel Sanders story, so I've included some of yesterday's episode not only to fill the hour, but to give you the entirety of that story. It's a great story, and it would be a shame to leave it split up into two parts. For casual listeners, if you missed yesterday's episode, please make sure you go and check that out. You'll be glad you did. As always, you can catch that episode right here, or you can listen to every episode I've ever done by going to WeDon'tHaveCookies.com. Two quick things before I go. Please go to Facebook.com/WeDon'tHaveCookies. Give that page a like. I don't post there very often, so it won't clog up your newsfeed or annoy you, and it would really mean a lot to me. I also want to hear from you guys. Send me an email. Let me know how I can improve the show. Who's your favorite guest, or what your favorite part of the show is. My favorite part of the show is interacting with you, the listener. So send me an email, jason@WeDon'tHaveCookies.com, or you can call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail. All right, guys, I'm going to start the show now. I want to thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next week.
So there's maybe Timmy John and two other people, and that have swore Timmy John shits his pants. And they just know it for a fact, and they want to be there to gloat in his face when Maury comes back with the DNA evidence. And then finally the evidence comes back.
Maury goes, the DNA results are in. Timmy John, you are not the shitter.
And then Timmy John gets all excited, jumps up there dancing around, and, oh, man, I just shit myself. He's so happy he go back to the casino, he shit his pants. And it's counteractive. It's counterproductive. And he went there to prove he didn't shit himself. And then I'll be goddamn if he don't shit himself on the Maury Povich show. So if he'll shit himself on the Maury Povich show, you know goddamn well he'll shit himself in a casino not to give up a Hot Wheel. Or handle or whatever they fucking call it.
How much of a gambling problem must one have in order to prove that they were not shitting themselves to go back to
and the only one I know that has a gambling problem that bad is Biscuits and Gravy Razor. He has to be the shitter. He's got to be the one. So Maya's trying to make defenses for the shitter. Oh, well, I bet he's real old. No, I saw him on TV. Motherfucker's about 45 or 50. And she said, well, that's how old. I said, well, it ain't old enough to be going out in public and shitting your pants. I'm 57. I'll be 60. I'll be 60 in a couple of years, and I can count on one hand how many times I've shit my pants in public because I save the other hand to wipe with. Boy. Now you know why we don't call this the Jason Marshall Show. You don't want his fucking name on it. You don't call it the bowling alley or the crap house or whatever y'all want to call this goddamn show. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Well, I'm glad you brought him up because the last time you were on
Are you Googling him? Are you? No, I can't swear it was Southern Indiana, but that's where my brother got kicked out of, so we just assumed it was him.
Well, the last time you were on the show, we were going to tell
I didn't shit myself. I do know that.
We were going to tell the Colonel Sanders story, but we ran out of time.
Did we run out of time?
Yeah, we were going to tell it on the next episode.
Didn't we go like 4 hours on the last show?
Yeah.
We did two 2-hour shows. How did we run out of time for Colonel Sanders?
I don't know. We've had some long shows.
Well, we have. We thought we was banned. We hadn't heard from you in a while. And Maya says, well, should we call Jason? I said, no, he'll hit record and it'll be a fucking show. Not going to call him.
Oh, I just looked this up. We were wrong.
Oh, what?
This happened in Ohio. Jason, anything you want to tell us?
Anything you care to admit, Mr. Jason?
We're at in Ohio.
Guy who didn't
There's a picture of the guy.
Let me see the guy. Let me see if I...
Hang on, I'm bringing it up right now.
Oh, he's shitting himself. I know he is. He's wearing white pants. Can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you shit yourself several times, oh my God, the guy's on Skype with him. He's probably 29.
Now Tim goes to casinos in Ohio. He goes to Ohio, Indiana, and he goes to 3 different ones in Indiana.
This is a nice one, too, they're showing.
What city?
I'm not sure because I'm not listening to it. I'll have to look it up in just a second.
Probably up near
Cincinnati.
I bet it's near Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Yep, there we go. Yeah, Timmy John.
I can only repeat. Do you want to come
remember
Timmy?
Remember Timmy John met me and Rob Dickin. Come out of the outhouse. Yeah, Timmy John met me and Rob Dickin up there once. The only time that I've been to a casino in the last 20 years, I guess, other than to see Casey and the Sunshine Band. And I won $500 that night. Guy gave me some $50 worth of tokens. I spent $3 and won $500.
It says here, a Kentucky man visiting Ohio.
Kentucky man. Yep, that's Timmy John.
The casino asked him to leave.
That's Timmy John.
For something he said he didn't do while he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Timothy interviewed.
Oh no!
Oh shit!
Oh no! Are you shitting me? Well, no, shit me. Are you? Is his name really Timothy? Oh my God! It's Timmy John.
I'm not to share his last name.
I'm telling you, it's all adding up. He plays in Ohio. His name is Timothy.
He said the Jack Casino security asked him to leave because of the stain he had on his pants.
All of you out there that have Facebook because Tim's too stupid to do Twitter, and I didn't think you could be stupid enough not to do Twitter, but he doesn't have one. And I blocked him because he's a fucking idiot. So write Timmy John and say, hey, is that guy named Timothy that plays in casinos in Ohio? Are you his name's Tim Razor, Raisor, Tim the Shitter Razor, and look him up. If you see a big goofy looking fuck in his profile picture, that's him. The other Tim Razor is a gay Tim Razor that lives in the same city as Timmy John, Carrollton.
Yeah.
And Tim's such a homophobe that he really had a problem that there was a gay Tim Razor. And there's also a child molester Tim Razor that lives there too.
The child molester was not that big a deal. It's the gay
guy. The gay one got on his nerves. The child molester he didn't have much of a problem with.
Thanks.
So there's 3 Tim Razors that live in Carrollton. One's gay openly. One is a child molester openly. And then there's Timmy John who has gambling and shitting issues apparently. I know it's him. It's got to be. Everything's adding up. Everything is turning up roses except for in Timmy John's pants. So write him Tim Razor and don't tell him tell him I sent you. I don't give a fuck. And just say, hey, there's a story about a guy named Timothy that plays the casinos in Ohio who's from Kentucky who had to be asked to leave the casino because he shits in pants. Are you the shitter? And I want as many of you as possible to look up Tim Razor, look for that stupid looking profile picture of this big country fuck, and then ask him that question for me because I can't because I blocked him.
I'd like to have him on the show. We need to talk about this.
Oh, God. Well, you got to get him to admit it first. If he admits he's a shitter, they're not going to let him back in, and he's got a gambling problem.
You know how he's going to respond. He's not going to admit to it. He has the saying when he's lying about something.
You don't want to know.
Oh, man. You don't want to know.
That's when you know Timmy John's lying for sure. No, the other way you know Timmy John's lying is if his lips are moving. There's only 2 surefire ways to know for a fact.
And he walks in, he says, I got a blowjob from this girl for $5. And Kenny goes, how'd you get that? How'd you confront her? How'd you ask her?
Yeah.
Man,
you don't want to know. No, actually I do. That's why I asked you. How did you get this $5 blowjob? It turned out the girl wanted meth. And so Tim was basically in a way a drug dealer, I guess, because he was giving her the money, the $5, to go get her meth. Now, anybody that blew Timmy John for $5 has got more than a meth problem. So we need to examine that first.
Yeah, we're back to white trash.
And he had one girl. He had one girl that was going to give him a blowjob, but in order to do so, she wanted to use Timmy John's food stamp card to get some food. And then she was going to give him a blowjob. So he drives her to the store. This is how stupid he is. He goes, you've heard stupid Kenny jokes before. Timmy John drives this meth addict from the glorified trailer park that he lives in. They call that place Happy Hollow because everybody in there's on drugs. If the police need to get their arrest up, they just go through and just start looking for people sitting on their porch and patting them down for meth. They're going to find it. He drives this girl to the store, hands her his food stamp card, which I think's got like $200 on it or whatever.
God damn, that's a lot.
And apparently she goes into, well, if it's got the full amount on it.
Yeah.
And he was acting like it did because he's pretty pissed as to what happened. So he drives the girl to the grocery store. She goes in and she promises Tim she's going to get about $10 or $15, maybe $20 for the food. And then she's going to come back out and they're going to go back to his place. She's going to give him a blowjob for the $20 of food she got. Well, what she actually did is she went in and she spent the whole $200, called her mother. She come and picked her up. She pulls up the front, girl comes out, she waves at Timmy John, gets into my car with her mother, and she's gone and you never saw her again. And he was the fucking man, and I didn't even give him a goddamn blowjob. I guess he was willing to pay up to $200 if he got the blowjob. But if you're getting $5 blowjobs, if you close your eyes, ain't the $5 blowjob just as good as the $200?
Oh man, you don't.
Well, but these meth addicts, a lot of them don't have teeth, so
it makes it better.
Yeah, well, not if they're jagged. If they're jagged, that probably is not. No, I'm going to say it right now. It's not going to be a better blowjob if you have the jagged ass meth addict.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
I hope you don't.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Bad enough. Lena gets accused of having a dick. I don't want you having one too.
No, I got one. I'm just shy.
Yeah. You better stay shy.
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. I got a dick, man. You don't want to know. What else you got, Jason?
Will there ever be a martial law episode between you and Jim Cornette?
No. No, there won't. We fucked that up. You didn't jump on that quick enough.
Yeah, I know. We built that up for about 2 months.
We did. No, the Jimmy thing is done and over. He associates with Brian Last, so I won't have anything to do with him. I associate with Russo, so he won't have anything to do with me. And we are what they call a Mexican standoff right now. I'll never do a show that he does where he's involved with Brian Last, and that's the only shows he does. And you know he ain't going to do a show that is on Vince Russo's network, whether Vince is on it or not. But he is so eaten up that I now am on Vince Russo's network that all my shit's tainted now. I'm just no good for society and no good for America in general because I dare do shows on Vince Russo's network that pays me way more money than Jimmy Cornette's shows ever did. So.
And just for the listeners at home, you want to explain who Vince Russo is and why that matters?
Well, that's right, because this is a comedy show, and they may not know. Vince Russo was a big-time television writer, producer, who basically cost Jimmy 2 of his jobs. He was a big deal with the WWE for quite some time. Russo and Jimmy worked together in WWE. They had creative differences. Jimmy was an old-school type of guy. Vince Russo was more modern and more just let's try any fucking thing and see if it works. And regardless of how sexual it is or just how ridiculous it is, let's just try it and see if it turns out to be good TV or not. And Jimmy was against all that shit, which I pretty much was too there for a while. But I didn't hate anybody or want to kill anybody over it. It was just a difference of opinion on how to produce and put together a television show. So Jimmy's starting all this shit and having fights and calling him names. Well, I can't say having fights because he's never had a fight in his life, and which means he's never won one in his life. Well, he's had fights, but he lost every one he ever had with me, and I don't know that he ever actually fought anybody other than me. So, but either way, he's never won a fight in his life. So him and Russo aren't getting along, and WWE's got to pick one of them because it's obvious they can't work together. So WWE picks Vince Russo. Well, wouldn't you know that eventually Jimmy goes to TNA, and Vince Russo also ends up in TNA, a wrestling group down south that is being filmed in Orlando at the park down there. And once again, Jimmy and Russo can't get along, and they're bickering at each other. Mainly Jimmy starting all the shit because he's one of these aggressive little yappy dogs that has this Napoleon complex and wants everybody to think he's tough. So once again, it comes down between Russo and Cornette, and the company picked Russo. So the way Jimmy sees it is that he cost Jimmy 2 jobs, cost him maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't know what he was getting paid, but that's the story Jimmy tells. And then eventually Jimmy wanted to kill Russo. And I told Russo after years and years and years, 16 years of hearing Jimmy threaten this shit, I said, I think the boy's over the edge. I said, I think, he called us to get advice on whether to get an EPO or not. Maya, Chris, and myself all consulted on it. They were very educated in EPOs. I was just going on emotion. And we all three agreed Vince needed to get an EPO. So then Jimmy eventually finds out that I was the one that motivated Vince to get the EPO. I told him I did, but he didn't believe me. And then it came out in a wash that it was true. And I said, well, I told you I did. But he didn't believe it. So now he believes it. And then eventually I fired Jimmy's host, Brian Last, because he didn't like how Maya and Chris ate him alive on arguing whether there should have been an EPO filed or not, on just people in general, not even Russo. And Maya especially ate him alive. So Jimmy got mad that we fired Brian Last, said I loved my kids too much. I need to cut them loose and just do these shows on my own. Because Brian knew he and I could play around and fuck around and people would buy that I wasn't trying to put him in his place. I was just being an entertainer. Maya was eating him alive and from an educational standpoint was putting him in his place real bad. And he was embarrassed by it. So that's why he wanted Maya off the show. So that's what led to all this, if y'all can even comprehend the very, very short version of how all this come to be. But Jimmy hates Russo. I got no use for Brian Last. And never will the two ever work together again. So looks like after 41 years of friendship, looks like me and Jimmy are done. I don't see how it can be saved. I really don't.
Yeah, that's a shame, too, because you guys have been through a lot together. We even told the dumpster fish story. If you guys can get through dumpster fish,
you would think
like
if you
could
could
get through anything.
Fish, you could get through anything, wouldn't you? But no, Jimmy can't let this shit go. And Jimmy's associated with a lot of people I had no use for, cared to do business with. I wouldn't say I hated. I didn't want to kill any of them, but there were some people that if they were in Jimmy's house, I would not go there. If they were at dinner and they were there, I would not go. And that's just how I handled that. Well, Jimmy can't handle it that way with me and Russo. All you got to do is just not show up where we are. That's easy enough. Russo don't even come to Louisville. And he doesn't have to do any shows that we're doing. But because I'm his friend, as far as Jimmy sees it, I've betrayed him, and I'm not worth being a friend anymore either. Even though he won't get rid of me on Facebook or Twitter, he or his wife, because they want to see and hear everything I'm doing or saying. So they won't block me, but yet they don't speak to me either. Well, I reached out to him 3 times. He never reached back. So I don't speak to him either. And if he did call me, I would make him wait 3 months for a response because that's how long he's made me wait. And he's no better human being than I am. So if he thinks I'm going to go jumping just because he calls and say, hey, Kenny, I'm ready to talk. Well, good. I was ready to talk 3 months ago. So now you wait 3 months and then we'll talk. I know that's childish, but that's how I do business.
Well, well, your new show starts on Vince Russo's network. It's the Realm Network.
It does. It airs September the 13th, hosted by Jack Lane. Is that his name? I believe Jack Lane's his name. Jeff Lane, excuse me. I'm glad you remember. Well, see, I got my memory ain't worth shit. I can.
You and my bowling.
I can fuck up anybody's name and have a good excuse.
When did we start the show? About 3-4 weeks ago?
Yeah, we started 3 or 4 weeks ago. We've already aired 2 episodes. I didn't know it we had, but we did. What was I talking about?
You were just about to tell
the new show.
Sanders story.
So no, I wasn't. So the great thing is that we air the show September the 13th, but we actually record it on 9/11, and I did that on purpose because no matter how bad that show is, we won't be the biggest disaster in history.
On that day.
On that day. Let's clarify that day. So. Oh, God. And I really got to tell the goddamn Colonel Sanders story again. Do you know it, Maya? Do you know the Colonel Sanders story by heart?
Which one? Timmy John's?
The one about the missing cane. Well, I guess more or less how Timmy John come to live with Colonel Sanders, the guy that shits his pants at casinos. So let's get that out there as verified and factual right now.
Oh, man. You don't want to know.
You don't want to know, man. You don't want to know.
All right, this was a great show. Have a good night, Jason.
Yeah. Good night, everybody, because you don't want to know. We've been here way too long. Racist white people.
Speaking of racist white people, Colonel Sanders.
Speaking of racist white people, let me talk about my brother, Biscuits and Gravy, who shits his pants at casinos. See, now you've motivated me to talk about him. How it all started is that Timmy John was adopted by a woman named Jewel and a man named John Razor. They were a married couple. Mom felt she couldn't raise me and Timmy John together. She was right. Timmy John was 6'4", ate like a horse. He's born 6'4", 375 pounds. Don't know how Mom did it, but she just didn't think she could raise both of us together. She obviously chose the chosen child. That would be me. Timmy John was adopted out. He was farmed out to the first family that would take him. That was John and Jewel Razor. So I hope he listens to this. So John and Jewel adopt him. Eventually, shit goes south, and Jewel leaves John. Jewel was working for the first version of the Kentucky Fried Chickens stores in Hardin County, I believe it was. I might be wrong on the exact city, but one of those southern Kentucky cities, I think in Corbin, Kentucky. That's where Jewel works, and she left John for various reasons. And Colonel Sanders was the manager of that store, and there weren't really any other KFCs going yet. And I don't even think it was really officially called KFC yet.
It was not KFC. It is Claudia Sanders.
Claudia Sanders. Him and his sister owned it.
No, it's his wife.
No, Claudia's his sister. That I do know.
You're going to have to look this up.
Look it up. Claudia Sanders is his sister. So, and if it ain't, then it's his wife. So, but I'm pretty sure Claudia is his sister because I've eaten there in the past few years. Colonel feels bad for Jewel that she has nowhere to go and offers for her and Timmy John to stay at his big-ass place there in Corbin, Kentucky. And the food is prepared there, and they've got like servants and all kinds of shit running around that help prepare the food for the restaurants. And so Timmy John and Jewel live there now for several months. And apparently have you got some updated information?
Claudia Sanders, the widow of Harlan Sanders.
No, so I was wrong. So Timmy John told me it was his sister.
Well, he thought you didn't want to know.
Well, here's what happened, man. He introduced me to his wife and his sister, and there's only one woman standing there. So I thought maybe. So, well, whatever. Sue me. So, the widow. I bet you he had a sister named Claudia, too. He probably married one in honor of his sister, Claudia.
I'm sure.
That's what happened. That's how it all went down. So Timmy John and Jewel are staying there with the Colonel, and apparently some rich-ass Saudi Arabians who were going to help apparently launch the Kentucky Fried Chicken chain. They were going to be investors with him. They gave the Colonel a heavily jewel encrusted cane that was loaded with rubies and diamonds and emeralds and you name it, this cane had it. This motherfucking cane was worth a shitload of money. Well, the Colonel used to go out into the gardens and kind of hand inspect everything, hand check everything, make sure everybody was picking everything properly and making sure that it was at its proper ripeness and all this shit, and that no one was picking anything early or picking anything late. And he was just very hands-on and supervised everything. Well, Timmy John used to help in the gardens, and also Timmy John used to make the coleslaw. And the coleslaw was actually made in big, like 30-gallon garbage cans that they put in a big plastic, liner. And they would make the coleslaw about 20, 30 gallons at a time. And Timmy John's job was to pinch up the cabbage and the lettuce and everything that went into making the coleslaw. And it had to be made a certain size. And if it was bigger than your thumb, the Colonel made you redo it. So he was really in Timmy John's shit about making the coleslaw the right way. And that was his job. So they come back in. The Colonel's bitching him out over bad coleslaw. He ain't making it right or whatever. And then the Colonel realizes his cane is gone. Well, he thought Timmy John grabbed his cane and went playing with it or whatever. And he's really giving Tim shit over it. Tim saying, no, I didn't take your cane. Tim's only 9 or 10 years old at this time. Jewel's giving him shit because now she thinks their free ride staying with the Colonel's over, because he was very picky, very mean, very tough to get along with. And eventually, once he got restaurants, they were always inspected with a white glove. And if you didn't pass the white glove test, he'd shut you down and take your shit. He would take your fucking fryers and everything that he put in there, and he would close it down. He didn't want his name associated with it. So it gets so bad, they call the state police to come out and look, because this cane is apparently worth thousands and thousands of dollars, even in the late 1960s. The police come out there, and then Timmy John and Jewel and Claudia are out looking in the gardens and in the fields where all the food is grown. And they're going up and down the rows because somebody said, well, I saw the colonel out here and he had his cane with him. So maybe he left it out here in the garden somewhere. No, I didn't leave it in the garden. Y'all are crazier than hell. I brought that cane back in the house with me and all this shit. So they're out there searching each row one by one, because there's corn and everything else out there and it's difficult to see. And I'll be goddamn here. Now the police are there and they're all searching everywhere trying to find his cane. And there was a cop fairly well near Timmy John. Well, Timmy John, after hours of searching, he finds the cane. And he picks the cane up and says, I got it, Colonel. I found your cane. So now Tim's thinking, in his mind, the heat would be off from him a little bit. Colonel will be so proud of him that he found the cane. And the Colonel had told him that there's no way it was in that garden. And Timmy John found it, and there it was. Well, wouldn't you know that the state trooper grabbed that cane away from Timmy John and held it up over his head and said, yes, Colonel, we got your cane. We've got you. He wanted to make it look like the police did their job. So they grabbed the cane away from Timmy John, hold it up over their head, and show the Colonel out in the garden that they've got it. And they walk it back in, and Claudia is standing there, and so's Jewel. And the Colonel is so grateful, and he's, oh, man, I'm so sorry. I just knew it was in the house. I thought Timmy John had grabbed it, and I guess I left it in the garden. I'm so sorry. I apologize to everybody. And officer, I owe y'all a tremendous reward. I owe you a big reward for finding. No, Colonel, you don't owe us anything. And Claudia says, you damn right you don't owe him anything. He says, he's not the one that found it, Colonel, or because I think even she called him Colonel. He would not be called anything else. You weren't going to call him Harlan. And she said, Timmy John found your cane. Said he was out there, and he's the one that found it, and that officer took it from him. So if you owe anybody anything, you owe Timmy John. And Timmy John's big smile on his face, thinks he's going to get $5 or $10 or whatever. 1968, $10 was a lot of money. Tim had never seen a $10 bill in his life. Well, the Colonel didn't give him $10. He reached in his pocket and he handed Timmy John a $100 bill. And Timmy John is, I'd say it, shitting his pants. even at 8 or 9 years old, Timmy John is shitting his pants right there in the Colonel's garden, and that's good fertilizer, and that makes good tomatoes. So Tim now thinks he's got $100. Well, Jewel is very thankful to the Colonel that they've got a free place to stay, and they got food and earning her keep there and everything, and she keeps her job at the restaurant. So she's thinking, you don't owe us shit. So she looked down, Tim, now, you know that money, that's not yours. You don't need that. The Colonel gives us a free place to stay. He gives your mother a job. You give the Colonel that $100 back. And Tim looks at her, you lost your goddamn mind. Tim, give the Colonel his money back. So he reaches up, hands the Colonel his money, and he just said, I just know the Colonel ain't going to take that $100 back. He said, that son of a bitch reached down, snapped that $100 out of his hand, put it in his wallet, and he never saw that 100 again. He never got a dime.
Damn.
And he's hated the Colonel ever since. So that's the story of Colonel Sanders, and now Timmy John grew to hate him.
I didn't even know that story.
You really? How have you never heard of it?
You've never told it before. Till this show.
Well, that would be one
How
way.
many times have I seen Aaron?
Aaron the Idol Stevens, every time he's in a car with a WWE star, will call me from wherever they are on the road. King, hey, King, tell them the Colonel Sanders story. And that's why I'm so sick of telling the Colonel Sanders story, because the last time I told it, I had to tell it to the whole Wyatt family. And then they will call, they'll be with somebody. Hey, King, hey, it's Ray Wyatt. Tell everybody in the car the Colonel Sanders story. So it gets passed around to everybody. There ain't nobody in the WWE that does not know the Colonel Sanders story. And it got so bad that the cast of Hot Tub Time Machine, invited Aaron and The Miz out to their some big shindig they were throwing on to promote.
It was a big pool party.
Yeah, it was a pool party, and they were promoting the possibility of making Hot Tub Time Machine 2, right? Yeah. Well, they were going to put that together, and they wanted a couple of WWE stars to come out. Well, WWE sent Damian Sandow and The Miz. So they go out there, and he says, King, I'm going to tell you, the last name that I thought I was going to hear with all these actors running around and the entire cast of Hot Tub Time Machine and Robert Downey Jr. was there, and he names all these various other movie stars that were there. The last name I thought I was going to hear was Kenny Bolin. And I said, how in the fuck did my name come up at this thing? He says, the minute that me and Ms. walked in, they knew that I used to be your roommate. And he says, all of a sudden, these guys go, he said, I didn't know who these fucking Hot Tub Time Machine people were. I didn't know. They come up and he said, hey, man, you know Kenny Bolin? He looks at me, and the Miz is really put off because I used to manage the Miz as well. And the Miz and me didn't get along very good. So the minute my name comes up, Miz is already put, because they thought that they were coming over there to fawn over them.
Why didn't you and Miz get along?
He was just hard to get along with. He was just a little cocksucker. So here's the Miz and Damian Sandow at this big shindig thing here out in Hollywood, just before WrestleMania. And so Miz thinks they're coming over there to fawn over him, and the first thing he's got to hear out of his mouth is, "Hey man, you really know Kenny Bolin?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, "Yeah, that's Kenny's roommate for probably a couple years or so." And he says, "I got to ask you something." He said, "We listened to the Jim Cornette Experience, and we listened to the Bowling Alley, and we've heard him tell the story about his brother was practically raised by Colonel Sanders." Well, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but they did live together. Idol says, "Can you tell us anything? Can you confirm any of that? You got anything you can tell us that maybe they haven't told on Jimmy's show?" He says, "Guys, come on over here and sit down." And the Miz stood there and looked at Idol and just like, fuck, I'm not going to go over there and hear them put over Bolin. Fuck this. So Miz wandered off somewhere else, like disgusted. He says, "Kenny, I sat down on a bench with them and I told them Kenny Bolin stories for about an hour and a half. And every time I tell them something, they go, 'No fucking way. No fucking way.'" And he says when he gave the details of the Colonel Sanders story, they just lost their mind. They just knew it was all a work then. There's no fucking way. He's making all this shit up. He says, "Nope, guys." He said, "I've known Bolin probably longer than anybody around here that you're ever going to talk to." He says, "Nope, it's all true." They said that they wanted me to do a cameo in Hot Tub Time Machine too, but I don't think they ever made it because I never got a call. Let's put it that way. So that was the Hot Tub Time Machine story.
Is that story in your book, the Harlan Sanders story?
I honestly don't know and can't remember.
Because it seems like it should be in the book. If not, you should really think about putting it in your next book. We're considering he's considering writing another book. His first book being I Probably Screwed You Too. He thought about having like 6 different covers, like the first one being Probably Screwed You Too.
Well, I do have 6 different covers.
No, you wanted to change the title too, remember?
Well, yeah, and name film the different titles that we come up with. And we was only going to add 1 new page in each book.
Yes. I Probably Screwed You Too. I Just Screwed You Again.
Mm-hmm.
Look Who's Back to Being Screwed.
Yeah. You didn't fall for this again, right?
How Are You Not Broke by Now? And you really need to rethink your financial priorities.
Yeah. Yeah, that was going to be the 6 different titles, and we was only going to add 1 new page to each book, just to say, "Hey, it was my brand new book," and they give it a new title. And I had one guy, he just Will Sweetie. We'll shout out to Will Sweetie if he's listening tonight. Will Sweetie has been waiting for 3 or 4 months to get my book. And somehow we keep forgetting to ship it to him. One time we finally did ship it to him, and he didn't get it. So then he writes me, and I don't believe him. I'm going, "There's no way you didn't get the book. Now, you're working me now." So he swears to God he didn't get the book. We sent it to him again. He didn't get it again. So I've sent this guy 2 books, maybe 3. And he writes me again, "Kenny, I still haven't got your book. Is your book a work? Is there really a book? Do you just pull this shit on everybody and everyone else is going along with it, acting like they got a book that you never did?" And I said, "No, that's a great. I wish I'd done it." I said, I'd my profits on 6,000 books would be a lot greater than what it is right now. And so this time the fucker's getting a tracking number. We've been sending media mail. And for whatever reason, we haven't been getting any tracking numbers with him. So this one he now gets with a tracking number. And so Will Sweetie, your book is on its way, along with your tracking number. I wish that, because you know what? I think most people would have just let me burn them for the $29.95. And I'd have never had to spend a penny other than to mail them an envelope for about 50 cents stating that you didn't get a book.
They got screwed.
Yeah. Just a picture of the cover.
Is a picture of the
cover.
I probably screwed you.
Well,
too.
I ain't wrote the book yet. This is the preamble. When I write the book, you'll get it. Shit. Get off my back.
One thing that hasn't come out yet is the video of Spider Mouse.
Oh, God.
We were just talking about Spider Mouse earlier today.
We haven't done a video for Spider Mouse. I think you have the only recorded copy. You got. All right. Tell you what I'm going to do. You love having that exclusive of Spider Mouse. Do you have it right there where you could play the audio now?
I don't have it right now, but I can add it to
how
the
long
end
and
of the
how
show.
hard would it take you to get it? You can edit it into the show?
Yeah.
All right. Or Maya, do we want to take one more stab at it audio-wise?
I say we do. We take a stab at it right now because the quality might be better. This way you have another version of it that you might not have.
Well, we haven't sang it in a while.
I sing it every day.
You sing it every day? Well, I'm going to let you do lead. I'm going to be just a touch of background and following your lead. I think I remember most. And the live audio version of Spider-Mouse for the first time ever.
Well,
recorded live.
Before you guys sing that,
on tape delay.
I know we got a lot of new listeners who came on just to hear Kenny. I want to let those people know the podcast is available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, anywhere podcasts are available. So make sure you subscribe because Kenny comes on once a month, and we have exclusives like this.
Okay, this is a little song that Maya and I wrote together while in my ex-wife's living room, while Maya was shitting her pants, wondering if mouses could climb on ceilings.
Mouses? Oh my God, I'm already cracking up.
So here we go. This is the first time ever worldwide released version of Spider-Mouse. All right, a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Spider-Mouse, Spider-Mouse, comes from the garage into your house. Sticks a turd any size, swats it with his tail right in your eyes. Look out, there goes the Spider-Mouse. Is he strong? Listen, please. He eats radioactive cheese. Takes his wife to his bed. That slut to give him head. Look out, here comes the Spider-Mouse. In the chill of night, while he's fucking your wife, like a streak of light, he explodes just in time. Spider-Mouse, Spider-Mouse, horny neighborhood Spider-Mouse. Cats and dogs he ignores. Fucking your wife is his reward to him. Life is a great big whorehouse. Wherever there's a whorehouse, you'll find a Spider-Mouse.
And you can see the video of them singing that on We Don't Have Cookies Facebook page.
Wait a minute, you got 3 fucking videos now. God damn it. Actually, you got 6. Because we did the 2 warm-ups because we hadn't done the song in a while. And we'll be doing that on tour at comedy clubs all over America for a mere fee of $1,500 a pop plus expenses and food. That's all we're going to fucking do. We're going to walk out, we're going to sing Spider-Mouse. That's our 68 seconds, and then we're going home. $1,500. Top that, Jason, funny man Marshall. Because you know that there's 35 clubs out there that'll bring us in. All right, everybody, here it is. They're going to sing Spider-Mouse. Live and in person.
And if you go to the Facebook page...
Don't go to the bathroom because they'll be gone in a minute. Don't take a shit.
You'll have to shit yourself.
Don't take a shit because they're going to be gone here in about 90 seconds. We got introduction, song, goodbye, no encores. They're gone. Like a streak of light. They'll be gone to the next town. We could probably do about 41 towns a day if we scheduled it right. LaGrange, Crestwood, Prospect, Buckner. We've never done Buckner. We'll do it now. $1,500 a town. They're all about 8 miles apart.
God damn.
Just walk in, sing. If there ain't nobody there, they better record it and show it to them when they get there because we ain't hanging around. Spider-Mouse. That's a good song. A motivational song. We did find out Spider-Mouse is a fucking cocksucker. He does not have one redeeming quality. It has nothing to do with being a spider or really even a mouse. He likes to fuck.
Shits turds. And he has
Shits
a tail.
turds, likes to fuck women. He likes cheese. We knew he liked cheese. We didn't know
Only
he liked
radioactive cheese.
only the radioactive shit. We did not know that he liked fucking human beings. And ignores cats and dogs totally. Because his reward is fucking your wife.
Not just that.
Yeah.
He forces that slut to give him
a forced her. You think you could have just asked him? Well, he's got a little mouse dick. Who cares, you know? Pulled that big mouse rod out and made her shove it all down her throat. Take it, bitch.
What a concept. What a concept.
But spider mouses. all because Maya thought that mouses could crawl on ceilings. I said, what do you think it is? Fucking spider mouse?
I saw a mouse on the ceiling.
No, you didn't. You saw him on the floor and you was upside down. That's what you saw.
I could have sworn I saw a mouse on the ceiling.
All right, so he's gotten Spider Mouse, and here we should have debuted that on the bowling alley, and we didn't. We're idiots. We'll just act like we didn't do it here. Ladies and gentlemen, the world premiere, Spider Mouse. We'll just beat him to the punch. We'll do it on Monday's show. Jason, he's got to fine tune and edit all this shit. While he's editing, we'll be singing on Facebook Live Monday.
We'll fuck it up.
You better hurry it up and get it on the air, Jason. That's all I can tell you. Spider Mouse sitting on 6 copies, that son of a bitch. So if y'all see this shit in 6 different versions, each one, probably the best one we did was one we just did, though.
That's what I could do. I could just release one a day for the next 6 days.
You can do that. One a day. Get your own different version of Spider Mouse. Well, soon there's going to be about 30 versions a day when we start touring the country. 30 cities a day. We're going to get in our car and drive until cities want to stop hearing Spider Mouse. No, man.
They never started.
We don't want to hear the fucking song. We never wanted to hear the goddamn thing to begin with. Y'all keep booking them like people want to hear that fucking song.
And if you go to the Facebook page to watch the video, make sure you like the page while you're there.
So you posted it on your Facebook page or mine?
I'm going to put it on the We Don't Have Cookies Facebook page.
Make sure to tag him, please, not me.
How many followers you got on this page?
Not enough. I think we've got about a little over 400.
A little over 400? Well, if we don't get 500 after this airs, then I'm going to be highly disappointed.
It is getting pretty late, and I think listeners can probably tell.
You get your Colonel Sanders story and your Spider Mouse, and now you're going to bum rush us, huh?
Well,
no meal, no nothing, no hug?
We got one last segment. That's this week's Dumbass of the Year.
Oh, Dumbass of the Year. Okay.
It's a video that caught a shoplifter hiding 18 bottles of liquor in her clothes.
Wow. And she wasn't clanging?
No. She actually went up to the cash register, paid for 1 bottle of liquor, walked out. They discovered what she did and put the video on the news, and she eventually got caught.
You know, that's an old trick that I used to do when times were tough and I was single. And I'd go to a gas station and I would fill up. And this was back in the 80s, maybe a little bit of the 70s, definitely the 80s. And I would fill up. And then, 79. So, we did this in 79. And I would fill up with gas. And then I'd wait for about 5 o'clock when it's busier and shit. And every pump is full. So they were just appreciative that I would pull up to the door to make another pump available so they could sell more gas. So there would be 4 or 5 checkers in there, in these Thorntons and Super Americas and places like that. Not that I did this. I've heard people do it. And my attorney tells me to say it that way.
Mm-hmm. A friend of yours.
A friend of mine. So a friend of mine did this shit. What a fool. What a fool he was. We'll say it was me.
This is not a stupid Kenny story. It's a stupid friend of mine story.
Stupid friend of mine story. So we'll say it was me just to make the story interesting. So I would fill up with gas, and it would come to $20 or $30, whatever gas cost back then, because I had like a 22-gallon tank. And would pull up to the door after I filled up. There'd be 4 or 5 checkers in there. They don't have any clue to what car. There'd be fucking 20 cars out there. So they couldn't keep track of it. And at that time, I drove a gold Grand Prix. That was the only negative thing, is that car stood out like a fucking sore thumb. But they were so busy, they didn't even notice that was the car that just filled up with gas. So I'd pull up to the door, and then I'd shop for a while. And I'd walk around. I'd get a bag of chips. I'd get a Big Red or whatever. And really let them forget that I'd filled up with gas. Then I'd go up to the counter and I'd have a bag of chips and a Big Red in my hand, or maybe just a Big Red in some cases, or a payday bar. I'd only have one or two things at best, and a $20 bill in my hand. And I'd hand them the food and the $20 bill, and they would, every single time, is that all? Yes, yeah, that's it. And then I would turn my back to them and start looking at the candy rack to see if there's anything over there I want. And then they say, okay, here's your change, sir. And I'd turn around and I would blindly hold my hand out, take whatever they gave me, and then put it in my hand, put it in my pocket. And if they gave me anything back at all, I knew they fucked up. And then they'd put $19 in my hand. And then I'd put it in my pocket and grab my Big Red, go to my car, get and leave just as fucking fast as I could. And I must have gotten 100 free tanks of gas doing that. And it was their fault because they weren't paying attention. And I didn't steal anything because I didn't ask for anything that they didn't give me. I gave them enough money to pay for the gas and the Big Red, and they only charged me for the Big Red. They were not looking to see, well, did you get gas? Now, if they said, did you get gas? I would have to say yes. But they never would ask me that. And that's probably what, if you don't know, did you get any gas? And I'd have to say yes. I couldn't fucking lie about it because I'm not a liar. It's not me. It's not in my DNA to do that. So we must have pulled that 100, maybe 150 times at least, just doing it that way.
Yeah, your friend really was very smart about that.
And there was another friend I had who would punch cards for me at Super America. And if you got 5 punches, you got a free tank of gas. If you filled up 4 times, your 5th tank was free. Well, I'd go in there and he would punch me out like 20 or 30 cards at a time that were all ready for a free tank of gas. So every time I'd go in, Phil Fair. Oh, well, just buried his ass. Sorry, Phil. Feds will be at your door tomorrow. So Phil Fair would punch these. Went on to be a great referee at OVW, by the way. Had a little pull. Had to give him something. Because so I'd go in there and I'd shop. And then, of course, he wouldn't ring me up on the groceries I'd bought. And we'd walk out of there with $75, $100 for the groceries. And then I'd hand him one of those Super America cards, get a free tank of gas on the way out the door. And of course, we'd always go in there on bone dry empty. So it'd be 30 or 40 bucks worth of gas, plus your 80 to 100 bucks worth of groceries. And if they had 12 packs out there stacked up like they do at gas stations, we'd fill the fucking truck up with 12 packs while we're out there. Or there might be 16 to 20 packs of 12 packs in the truck. So we'd fill those fuckers up. And then we would take the wood and fertilizer that they had stacked up out there, put that in the back seat, and then go home and sell that to anybody in the complex that needed fucking wood, because we had fireplaces in the complex. So we would sell the wood and fertilizer to anybody that wanted it at a seduced rate. So one trip to the gas station.
Seduced rate.
A trip to the gas station was worth $200 or $300. And then we might go back later that day and load up on groceries again. How late you working, Phil? Well, I'm working a double today. Well, good. We'll be back here for the midnight shift. And he would turn the fucking cameras off, and we'd go in there and we'd load up on lunch meat and ice cream. And you all don't want to know how many Yoo-hoos I had in my refrigerator. And I used to do this shit when I was married to Gabrielle. And Gabrielle, I'd come in with all this fucking lunch meat and Yoo-hoos and a fucking trunk full of 12 packs. Gabrielle would say, well, where'd you get all them 12 packs? They had them for a fucking buck, a 12 pack down in there. I got about 20 of them. She'd believe it. I'd never fill it with gas with her in the car because I couldn't tell her how I was getting it. So I would drop her off somewhere and then I'd go fill up. I'm coming clean, folks. Well, if it were me, it was actually a friend of mine that did this stupid shit. I'm way smarter than to do this shit for 5 or 6 years. 87 to 93. Poor Chris. No wonder he hasn't got a work ethic in his body. So you were about to tell your own stupid story, and that was mine.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is almost 3:00 in the morning.
Well, no, I don't want to go. It's 2:15, you liar.
What?
It ain't. No, it is 3. My bad. I looked at the clock wrong. What was your story?
I thought we were in the same time zone.
You had a stupid story, but I told you my stupid story. Or did you have a stupid
Dumbass of the year?
Dumbass of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I have to say, The dumbass of the year, yours was good, but I'm going to say the gambling shitter should be on that list.
I will add him as an official nominee.
Thank you.
Only if he gets back in the casinos can we take this title away from him.
And I'm actually going to include that it was your brother Tim.
Oh, please, because Timothy, gambling Ohio from Kentucky.
Please tag him.
It's got to be the guy. Got to be the guy.
I'm seriously considering sending this to him on Facebook and asking if he would like to do the show to defend himself.
Defend his honor. Defend his honor.
Oh, my God, it'd be amazing.
Is it true or is it not true you shit your pants and you're a Trump supporter? I don't know which is more embarrassing. Oh, that'd be a funny show. I might even tune in and listen to that one. But I ain't talking to him.
I just added him as an unofficial nominee. So,
well, I'm burying enough people. I've buried Cornette, buried Timmy John. Well,
I do gotta say that lady hiding 18 liquor bottles, that takes some skill.
That is. That's
you can't just do that casually.
Game off. She started with like one or two.
Yeah, probably.
I wonder if it became a challenge.
It was probably buy one get three free. I mean, I've done that. I remember when I used to work at TGNY, I was in charge of the pricing gun. And once again, this is on Timmy John. He would tell me what he wanted, and I'd price a chainsaw that normally sells for $139 for $29.95. Timmy John would come in, get his $29 chainsaw. The checker would look at, God damn, are there any more of those back here? No, man, I got the last one. And then as a return favor, I would price beta tapes that were normally beta cassette tapes that were like $23. I would price them for 99 cents because no one in the TGNY had a fucking beta deck. They didn't know what they cost. So I would price them 99 cents, put about 10 of them in a row. Tim John come in there, he'd get his $29 chainsaw, buy my 9 videotapes. It saved me about $230. And, well, I had a friend that did it.
Yeah.
I had a friend that did it. That's what my attorney tells me to say. So, all right, if you're going to pussy out on me at 3 a.m, I guess we'll just go on to somebody else's podcast. Sing Spider Mouse. Hope they beat you to it. That'll teach you.
But where can people find you on Twitter?
They can't. After all the shit I've divulged today, I'll be killing all social media. Going into hiding, I'll go out to Nebraska or something. They'll never find me there. Twitter is, what am I?
At Starmaker Bolin. His Instagram is Kenny Starmaker.
Yeah, you set that one up. I don't know what it is.
Let me look it up.
I think it is Kenny Starmaker on Instagram.
It's Kenny Starmaker. Let me just
pushing 1,000 followers on there. And the thing is, I just made my first post about a week ago. I had 700 followers and hadn't made a post.
All right, so on Twitter, he is at Starmaker Bolin. On Instagram, he is Kenny Starmaker. And I am at the Maya Doodle on both.
And on Facebook, it's /Starmaker Bolin. And on Google, it's...
Nobody uses Google.
Oh, okay. Well, we won't give that one.
Give them your LinkedIn, too?
Yeah, give them my LinkedIn in case I start looking for a job. Never mind. Never mind. We're on that fucking 30-city tour. I don't need no fucking work.
You're going to be busy.
Spider Mouse, 30 cities a day. Going to be an all-time record. I bet no one's ever done 30 cities a day. We're going to. We'll start at 6 in the morning. We'll get done about midnight. Get in a hotel, do 30 more the next day. Spider Mouse. Don't you wish I'd leave your house? I will not because I need the money. I sure wish I was funny. Look out. We're not going to leave your house.
Well, we
don't even have to go to clubs. We'll just go to people's houses, knock on the door, demand $25 and sing Spider Mouse. That might be more money. Because we can do a lot of houses if we get into a big neighborhood. We just refuse to leave. Who's going to move me? Unless they got a gun, then we leave.
Well, you are going to leave the show.
No, I'm not.
I did
the
say
people,
good
I think,
day.
just demanded one more hour. One more hour. Sing Spider Mouse again.
They could have that next week.
All right. Well, if you're going to be a party pooper, we said good day.
I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea.
肩に手を乗せ I have クロスして A bad case お腹をさすって of diarrhea ジェスチャーゲームの要領です。感情を込めてやってみましょう。
I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea.
I'll be 60 in a couple of years, and I can count on one hand how many times I've shit my pants in public because I save the other hand to wipe with.